It's enough, I think. It's enough, I think.
In October of 2023, my life was going through an upheaval. The future of my marriage and the state of my life was in flux. I was living in pain, fear, and that ache in my heart that you cannot escape, the one that comes in waves, grieving a reality that I had previously taken for granted as always being there. Stable, safe, predictable, that had vanished. And I was on the road at the time, touring in the States when October 7th happened. In previous eras of my life, maybe I could have ignored it. Maybe I could have scrolled past the days, months, and almost a year and a half of what was to come. But with my heart already being in a place of raw and vulnerable state that it was in, and the genocide that was underway in Gaza, it was impossible to ignore. I couldn't get on stage and pretend I was okay. I was not okay. I started learning about the history of the occupation, the political ideology of Zionism, Israeli settlers of the West Bank. I was watching videos coming out of Gaza and crying with friends. I started learning about how colonization, capitalism, and white supremacy need each other to exist, and how they were at the root of the Nakba 76 years ago that never ended for the people of Palestine. I was taking it all in, and I was silent. I was scared. I was thinking about myself. I didn't want to be labeled anti-Semitic. I didn't want to get canceled and lose my career. I didn't want to lose fans. I didn't want to offend anyone. But at a certain point, I couldn't believe those voices anymore. My heart had just enough cracks in it that the light of Palestinian resistance, struggle, and unwavering faith cracked it open. I was experiencing what happens when the internal pain from being silent outweighs the risk of speaking up in moments of injustice. And once you see it, you can't unsee it.
Wow. I I actually on purpose I didn't want to see it until you played it. Um yeah, that one gets me. Ooh. And as I was watching it, I was thinking, I know we're going to be talking about Butch Ware in a minute and an event he's having tonight, which everyone we're going to publicize because we want everyone to be there. But we need to get him in touch with Macklemore because I just feel like, sorry to the anarchists out there, but I think leadership is a big, big deal. I think it's important. And, right now the Democrats are using that fake Bernie, and people who used to hate him and vote for Hillary Clinton, they're in the audience cheering him, I mean, I guess they have to get fooled, right? I mean, we were all Bernie supporters in 2016. All of us were. Some of us were in 2020, and, we don't get fooled again. But these people, they got to get fooled, I guess, for the first time because they didn't believe him then. But no, that was, and when you told me about this video, I was like, Macklemore is, I mean, seriously messing with his career. And this takes incredible bravery because that man is at the top of the rap world. And I mean, I know that the song came out, but as we will talk about in the later stories that we're doing, these Zionists are not fucking around. They are out to get us, and they will go after him. They will go after him. He's I'm again, ultimate props to Macklemore.
Yeah. First time I watched it earlier this week, it actually brought me to tears, and I didn't think that was possible anymore.
Yeah,
because I feel like I've cried so much. I've cried like an ocean of tears over, personal losses that I've experienced, and then, I think the reason I relate to it so much is because he was grieving something he lost, and then October 7th happened, and I went through the same thing. I lost my husband in July of 23, and then October happens. And I'm like, you know,
Yeah.
now I got to do something, you know. He really hits the nail on the head. We're going to play more of that in a little while.
Yeah.
Because it's just so phenomenal. He speaks to like my inner dialogue that I've been having and the way I see others and the risks that we know that we have to take, and it's so hard to do.
Yeah.
Um, but if we don't, what are we left with? Are we just going to be under martial law and um, get snatched off the street for nothing?
As we will
Like,
cover
this is where we are.
today. Oh, and Nick Cruz from RBN, Revolutionary Blackout Network, he had said that pretty early on. He recognized that this is the fight of all fights, because we are up against a movement, the most evil movement in our lifetimes, and they have such backing and money behind them that they control all our politicians. And you even notice when you get when Bernie gets pressed on like Hassan, no, Mahmoud Khalil, right? He gets pressed on Mahmoud Khalil and he just jumps back. The Democrats, they're going to play a nice little, Bernie revolution game, but they're not, they're not the real thing. No.
No.
These are the things that they're not going to speak up against.
Yeah.
They'll do the easy ones like Signal Gate. That's a cute, funny. They put the word gate on it because that makes it that's another thing I've really noticed about liberals is because now I'm back watching more mainstream media. And you just see that what liberals react to is what gets played constantly. So they're doing Signal Gate on a 24-hour cycle now. That's the big one, like Russiagate was. And so that's what liberals will respond to, the easy stuff that they just see over and over again. And again, it's not that they're wrong, but they're missing the whole picture. They're missing the important ones. Okay. The important part of that story is we're killing Yemeni people. We bombed a hospital. Okay. We bombed a hospital. Why is that not the number one news story instead of this silly,
Yeah, it's the
Signal
how,
Gate?
not the what. It's the how. It's the gotcha. It's the we
Right.
hate Trump, so let's, degrade everything he does, which
Right.
there's a lot to that. Yes.
Absolutely.
Let's go against all of that, and we're gonna have a piece on that later, but you know, um
But bombing Arabs.
it's missing the big picture.
Right.
That, one of the rallies that we're going to talk about in a little bit, the fight, what is it? Fight back or whatever. I don't know. I forget. Hands off.
Heads off. Yeah.
It's just talking about ourselves.
Yeah.
And I didn't see anything about Gaza. I didn't see anything about war. I didn't see anything about cutting the military budget.
Yeah.
And I think people are finally starting to understand that all of that has everything to do why you can't get all of this. It is two parts of the same story.
Right. Yeah, the Democrats and Republicans work in tandem. That's what they do.
100%.
They work in tandem.
Yeah, and if you watch a lot of those speeches, that they're not solving anything. They're not saying, "Hey, let's do this, and this is why that will work." That's what we do here.
Yeah.
That's what activists do. The Green Party now is becoming an activist organization as well.
Right. Absolutely.
Because we have to be,
Right.
and, if you've been here for any amount of time, I'm like, don't leave any of your tools in your toolbox. Running for office is a thing. That's a tool.
Right.
It's a tool for organizing. It's a tool for pushing back against the establishment. It's a tool, should you win, to actually get your hands in there and see how you can make it better and expose the hypocrisy that happens.
Right. No, absolutely. That's the thing about the Green Party. It's an organizing tool. That's the most important aspect of what the Green Party is. It's an organization that you can get involved in for your activism. And it's the perfect place. It really is. It's the perfect place for it.
So, you wanted to cover this story?
Yeah, another one. We're doing heavy ones at the beginning.
Well, this is the times we live in.
So this is Hossam I'm sorry, Hassan Shabbat, kind of a celebrity reporter in Gaza. He was really, really popular, and he was getting threats from the IDF that they were going to kill him, and sure enough, they did. So this was posted by his team. He wrote a message. He goes, "If you're reading this, it means I have been killed, most likely targeted by the Israeli occupation forces. When all this began, I was only 21 years old, a college student with dreams like anyone else. For the past 18 months, I have dedicated every moment of my life to my people. I documented the horrors in northern Gaza minute by minute, determined to show the, the world the truth they tried to bury. I slept on pavements, in schools, in tents, anywhere I could. Each day was a battle for survival. I endured hunger for months, yet I never left my people's side. By God, I fulfilled my duty as a journalist. I risked everything to report the truth, and now I am finally at rest, something I haven't known in the past 18 months. I did this all because I believe in the Palestinian cause. I believe this land is ours, and it has been the highest honor of my life to die defending it and serving its people." And I just think that, it's again bravery, right? Ultimate bravery here. And he ends with, "I'm sorry. I ask you now, do not stop speaking about Gaza. Do not let the world look away. Keep fighting and telling our stories until Palestine is free." So, yeah, I'm sorry that breaking up on live TV, not good.
That's okay.
Yeah,
That's what makes us different than them. We are still in touch with our feelings and our emotions, and we care deeply for other people, not just ourselves. And that is going to be the saving grace of the world. And that is what we have to fight back with, because we don't have all the money. They have taken almost everything, and they're working on more. But we have numbers.
right. Yeah.
And when all the people say, "Yeah, I'm not doing this anymore," guess what? It's going to stop.
Yeah.
What that looks like, we're not sure yet. But a lot of good people are having a lot of great ideas. But to follow up what you were saying, which is something I meant to put in our show today, but I'm just going to talk about it really quickly. So hopefully I don't cry too. I might.
I know, right? Oh my
Uh,
God.
sorry to be such a downer today.
Mm.
Heavy
On
downer.
a Saturday morning. Yeah, I'll get a little coffee.
but we'll get better as we go. So there was a violent attack on the Oscar-winning co-director Hamdan Bilal for the Academy Award winning picture No Other Land. It was he was attacked by Israeli settlers in the West Bank and beaten and bloodied and bleeding, thrown into an Israeli military vehicle, and hasn't been seen since. And that happened on Monday.
Yeah. And for people, we use the term Israeli settlers. So Israeli settlers in the West Bank, what that means is they came into a person's home, the family, kicked them out by gunpoint, forced them away, and occupied the house. So that's what a settler means. I mean, that's the thing about this. I didn't know. I mean, I had no idea of the apartheid state in the things that go on. Everything that we have seen, every aspect of it is so much like Nazi Germany. Every aspect of it. The disgusting pictures that the IDF soldiers put out of playing with the kids' toys after they killed them, or putting on the dresses of the women after they killed them. I mean, it's sick stuff. Really sick.
It's a death cult. It's reveling in death.
Right.
It's horrible. And for all you pro-lifers out there that think Trump's cool, well, they're trying to implement a lot of that here.
It's coming here.
It's a death cult.
It is, as our news stories, as our upcoming news stories show, it's coming here. They are kidnapping people off the streets.
Yeah. Did you want to skip the burning part? We can.
Yeah, it's up to you. It's up to you.
Okay. Yeah. So we'll let you see this. So here's the complicit part. Remember how Macklemore said complicit? Here's somebody that shouldn't be, but is.
Right.
Bernie Sanders backed the resolution which greenlighted the reignition of the Israeli genocide. Hours later, over 400 Palestinians were slaughtered. This is Mr. Not me, us, Mr. Let's start a political revolution, which led exactly everybody back into the Democratic Party, which spent $1 billion and lost. So where did all that money go? They offer no solutions. If you watch his oligarchy tour, I mean, they're just redefining the problem again and again and again. Did we have that other picture of, oh, I guess maybe we missed that one, of him standing there and you see this big crowd. It's like him and AOC and they're like, yeah.
Right, from the back. Yeah, that's a photo that's been spread all over the place. And the thing about this thing is you can tell it is absolutely a PSYOP Democratic Party. I mean, well funded. And you see all of these left, Mother Jones and all these pretend left publications are talking about the comeback of Bernie Sanders and the biggest crowds ever and all this crap. And you'll also see it on like Facebook and other sites. If you see it, it's all the same. It's all the same format. There's a paragraph from somebody who you never heard of appearing in a leftist space where it really shouldn't be, and they do these paragraphs, and it has these cute slogans about, like, I didn't really want to say anything, but I just have to, and they call themselves comrades and stuff like that. And then they just talk about how terrible it is that the left is ragging on Bernie Sanders because, you're supposed to unify. We want to get together, and how, it isn't fair of you to do this to Bernie. This is all Democratic Party PSYOP stuff. This stuff is funded. You see, it's because you can tell right away. It all comes out on the same day. It all is a similar format. It's a paragraph with that picture.
Yeah.
I mean, they are pressing hard to do this pretend, revolution crap.
I know. Brianna Joy Gray, which was something. Our producer is not available today. He's traveling, so we're trying our best, but we didn't get all our stuff in here. So I'm going to read this to you. Brianna Joy Gray posted 2 days. Well, maybe it's been 3 or 4 days ago now. About the picture. This is going to seem so sinister when they tell these people to vote for oligarchs in 2028, just like they did in 2024.
I'm surprised that she had the word "if" there, because come on. I mean, she
like,
knows.
If, and she's like, really mean, I mean when.
Yeah, she should have just said when, because without a doubt, there isn't. Come on.
Yeah, and so I went to the Workers Strike Back, and Bernie launched his oligarchy tour on the exact same day. You think that's an accident?
Right.
It is not an accident. Yeah. Oh, hang on. We got a comment.
Okay.
What's up, Yvonne? But ask about students picked up by ICE.
We're getting to those stories today. I mean, it's frightening. We have the video. Of Ramoisa, I don't know how to pronounce her name. I'm so sorry. Ramoisa Ozturk. She was kidnapped by ICE agents, and we will play that.
No, we were going to talk about General Strike for Gaza.
Sure. So actually, we can do that. The Illinois Green Party is doing a general strike, and it was Edie's idea to do it monthly. And so we are doing this general strike. We want people to make no purchases on the 7th day of each month. Post general strike memes on social media. Call in sick for work if you can. Stay at home from school if you can. And the thing about this is that we know that these things will continue because they are well funded. And really, people say, oh, it's the US, it's Israel. The two are the same. The two really are the same. Israel is there for the US so that we can be infiltrating the Middle East and grabbing oil. I mean, that was the original. Now, the Zionists have their own sick agenda, but that was the USA's role. But so we demand that the government enact an immediate arms embargo on Israel. Uh, they just did that same thing with bypassing Congress, and Marco Rubio had a couple of billion sent in arms to Israel. So, yeah, meet the new boss, same as the old boss. Stop the killing and ethnic cleansing in Gaza. Force Israel to dismantle their apartheid system. Stop the siege of the West Bank, and end Israel's occupation of Palestine. So we're doing that. And next one, April 7th.
Yep. So, yeah, which kind of leads us to, let me get rid of this real quick. There's that hands-off rally, but we're not going to promote it because it's a psyop for the Democratic Party. And I'm not saying you shouldn't be mad at Trump. I'm saying you could be doing this.
Right. Yeah, there's
because
a march in Washington.
That's not present in their rhetoric. That's not what they're there to do. So I would say if you're going to go to that, go with your keffiyeh. Go with your Free Palestine shirt on. Go wearing red, black, and green. Take your little flag and remind them that this is happening too. It's not just Social Security and Medicare and the post office. It's all of it. And it's all connected. Yes. So I wish we could go to that. I'm sure it's going to be amazing. Yeah. I've been to DC twice, and it's an incredible experience. Oh, I think with Trump being in charge, it might be a little bit different, but the people are wonderful. Like if you've ever been to a big ceasefire Gaza rally, people are genuinely caring and they make sure you're okay. It's wonderful.
And I would recommend highly people wearing their keffiyeh scarves over their faces because things are getting real serious. And as we'll talk about in upcoming stories.
Yeah, I can't tell. Oh, that's Sabby Sabs. So, don't know where we're at yet.
Oh, well, let's see.
Let me look. So the general strike. Yeah, so we talked about AOC and Bernie. General strike for Palestine. So here's another thing that you can do. So lots going on. Here's something positive you can do. Okay. So the Power to End Genocide virtual event today. So if you're Central, it'll be 7 p.m. tonight. And you can go to, can you put the banner up for Butch?
It should be coming around. It should be, I think. Well, let me try it again.
Yeah, I apologize for little technical things. Oh, there it is. I found it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's there.
Go to butchwearforgov.com. And he is running to be California's governor. And he's got a real shot because he's probably going to go up against Kamala Harris or Kamala or, Little Miss Sellout and the top cop in California. That's how we used to refer to her. Oh, you mean the top cop? Right. Yeah, she's really going to do some Black Lives Matter and defund police. Sure she is, and that's a subject, but we still aren't talking about enough because there's just so much to talk about. But yeah, I highly recommend everybody attend this. If you haven't heard Butch Ware speak, you're missing out. I'm just saying.
He's dynamo. He really is.
And I don't know if you can see the whole graphic, but
yeah, I was looking to see if I could find the graphic.
Well, it's what's the guy's name?
Yeah, that's what I'm looking for. Sorry.
The college kid.
Yeah, he's a kind of a TikTok star, and he and Rathbone are both behind. Yeah, I'm not going to find it.
No, I think I'm going to find it here in a second.
He and Rathbone are two TikTok stars who are supporting Butch Ware in his run for governor. So that's great.
Guy
Christensen. Guy Christensen. Yeah. Yeah, he's amazing. I'm sure you've seen him because the TikTok videos have been showing up on Instagram and Facebook and everywhere else. So, yeah, he's fantastic. So he'll be there tonight at the virtual event.
I highly, highly recommend you go check it out. And if we want to change things in this country, California is the 6th largest economy in the world.
Right.
and it has been mismanaged by Democrats and Republicans forever. I mean, they let LA burn. And now they're looking at it as a real estate investment because all these people lost their property. You know, the water, I mean, I don't know if you remember that, but we talked about the water rights were taken by I can't remember the name of the billionaires, but the people that do Palm Wonderful, you know, cut some backroom deals with the government to, you know, prioritize their profitable business, make sure they get the water over populations and even over fire hydrants to put out fire. I don't know if anybody remembers seeing Gavin Newsom down there. He got confronted by a woman. Now, whether it was set up or not, I don't know, but it seemed pretty legit because she's like, "Why is there no water?" She's like, "Oh my God, is that Gavin Newsom? Let's go talk to him. Why is there no water?" "Well, we're working on it." "Yeah, okay. I'll get back to you." You know that never happens.
And you know, that's another sick thing about the world of capitalism and billionaire takeover is, as we have this climate catastrophe, every time there's a climate catastrophe, there are billionaires waiting to grab up the land. I mean, in Hawaii, that happened in Hawaii. So no, we are at war, folks. We are at war with the billionaires. I mean, without a doubt.
And guess what? We didn't start it; they did.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the best defense is a great offense.
Yeah, there you go.
So moving on to, well, we're doing pretty good. 30 minutes in, and we're already on number 7. That's pretty good. We thought this was going to be like 2-3 hours because there's just so much to cover. But I wanted to show, you know, people are getting snatched off the street.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll show this. I think it's this one.
Yeah, 6. Yeah.
You guys covering your faces?
Right.
You want to take those masks off? Is this a kidnapping? Yeah, you don't look like it. Why are you hiding your faces? Why are you hiding your faces? Can I see some faces here? How do I know this is the police? Seems like bullshit to me. Certainly looks like it. Bit of a kidnapping going on here?
Yeah, absolutely. That's what's happening here. And the sick thing is that, well, there's many sick things in that video. This is the new America that we live in. And right, as the guy said, why are they masked? Why are they in plain clothes? They didn't identify themselves. We find out later it's ICE. And so the thing is, what's really sick is that the reason that they are picking her up is because she wrote an op-ed piece at her college. I mean, she hasn't even been involved in the protests. She wrote a piece, op-ed at the university, and ICE picks her up. She was here on a visa. I mean, completely legal, a visa for her education. And they pick her up and take her in an unmarked van. They sent her to the Louisiana. That's where they flew her to. Why? So they could put her in front of the same judge as Mahmoud Khalil, because they know this judge is going to just deport them right away. So, and again, they have no charges against them. She does not have a charge, and that's why they're using ICE, because you don't have to have a charge. And there's no, all the legal defenses that we had when we set up in this country, they're not used in this situation because it's a deportation situation.
Yeah, which is ludicrous, because if you're here legally, all the laws
Yes.
should still you. And one thing I'm having a problem with, and I get it's hard to stand up for people, but people are just allowing people to be snatched off the street.
Yeah.
So I would suggest, if you're here on a visa or a green card, never go anywhere by yourself.
Yeah.
Carry some mace, because if they don't identify themselves, as far as you know, you're getting attacked. You know, I get it. You're afraid of getting hurt, but I don't know where they're taking you. If Louisiana, who knows what's happening to you? They won't even, I mean, when Mahmoud Khalil was picked up out of his residence, basically, his pregnant wife is filming it. She's got the lawyer on the phone. They won't even talk to the lawyer. And then they lied to her about where they were taking him. So they are just flouting the law completely.
Right.
And even if they're getting through on some kind of technicality, it's still immoral and against who we say we are. Are we not a nation of laws and freedoms? And I would say, you know, they're starting to actually hate us for our freedom. That was, I know that slogan has been butchered, but, you know, they don't like that we can still speak up. They're trying to intimidate, and they snatch leaders. Mahmoud Khalil was in that new movie, Encampments.
Was he really? Wow.
Yeah. So, and people that are speaking out. I mean, just because you're not born and raised here, so you're supposed to just sit down and shut up? Is that where we are? We don't have free expression anymore unless you're a native born. And I guarantee you, if the law is, you know, sidelined for them, it will be sidelined for us soon. So don't think being a citizen is going to protect you. It's not.
No.
Yeah,
what they use is called administrative detention. So that's why they don't have to have any charges. It's the same thing they use in Israel. So no, it's a really, really dangerous time that we live in this country. And especially, again, when they are going after people who are protesting the genocide. That's the really sick thing.
And that's all they've done. Nothing else. They used their voice and said, hey, could we do some peace here? Could we stop a genocide here? Why are we funding the killing of men, women, and children that are civilians? Why? Let's stop doing that. We have the right to redress our government. It's in our Constitution. However, our Constitution is only a piece of paper if the law doesn't uphold it. And I'd like to ask all the police officers out there and all the military out there, why are you allowing this to happen to your country?
Right.
Your duty is to the citizens, not the power structure.
Absolutely.
You should be standing up with us and for us and not against us. I'm putting out the call right now. If you're active duty military, don't cooperate anymore.
Yeah.
Don't. Because
Aaron Bush, no.
Empire is using you to hurt people and your country, which is why you signed up. I know why you signed up. You love your country, but they are not honest actors in this.
And you've been assigned to go bomb a hospital in Yemen because Yemen is the only country that is actually fighting the genocide. They're the only ones actively fighting the genocide. That's why we are bombing them. And that's what you've been assigned to do. Please, please.
So all you Trumpers that thought he was going to get some peace.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Meet the new boss, same as the old boss, just nastier rhetoric. It's the same thing. Democrats say it nice and do it behind your back. And Republicans do it in your front and don't care what you think.
Right.
So I wanted to put up the Sabby clip.
Yeah, great.
Yeah. Tufts University student was detained the other day. She was a part of the pro-Palestinian protest. And wait till you see the way that she was detained. Let's go ahead and bring in this clip here from Case Study QB. Shout out to Case doing the damn thing. Check this out, fam.
Okay, we are back now with the arrest of another international student expressing pro-Palestinian sentiments. A Turkish national enrolled in a PhD program at Tufts University, detained by DHS Tuesday night while walking down the street. She's now being held at an ICE facility in Louisiana, and immigration authorities say there are grounds for her visa to be terminated. NBC's Antonia Hilton has this one.
This is the moment Tufts University graduate student Rumeysa Ozturk was arrested and taken into federal custody. Doorbell camera footage obtained by NBC News shows two plainclothes officers approaching the 30-year-old in Somerville outside of Boston. Ozturk at first appears to back away before more agents approach, one eventually taking her phone out of her hand. Officers then take her backpack off, handcuff her, and lead her across the street to a car. An onlooker heard questioning why the officers' faces are covered. Ozturk's lawyer says she was on her way to break Ramadan fast with friends on Tuesday night when she was detained without explanation. She says her client, a Turkish national, was in the U.S. working toward a PhD in child study and human development on a valid F-1 visa, which allows foreign nationals to pursue academics without the intention of immigration. In a statement, the Department of Homeland Security today, writing in part, DHS and ICE investigations found Ozturk engaged in activities in support of Hamas, a foreign terrorist organization that relishes the killing of Americans.
So do you see what they're doing, guys? This is what I was warning people about, right? Like, basically what they're doing, if you participated in those pro-Palestinian protests, they're defining that as you were participating in supporting Hamas, right? So they're just coming after people.
And you know, the problem I really have is, why does NBC put that statement out where ICE is saying, and Hamas relishes the killing of Americans? What kind of bullshit is that? What kind of bullshit is that? And they put that out. And again, calling them terrorists. That's just the word that gets used. It's been used for 20 years now. If our country wants people to not side with people who are fighting for their freedoms, they've been captured for 20 years in Gaza with a barbed wire fence put around them, and they call them terrorists. And Hamas was a political organization that won an election. So it's like they're saying the Republicans or the Democrats are terrorists. I mean, that's how absurd this language is. And we let them get away with this crap.
Yeah. You notice how they massage the language. So you think she's guilty of something besides having an opinion.
Right.
And siding with Hamas? No. We are for peace. Pro-Palestinian protest, everyone there, it wants peace and freedom. And when it is denied, things go south. That's just the truth. I mean, if you know anything about the history, you know, I can't remember if it was Chris Hedges or someone else had encouraged the Palestinians to do a peaceful protest, you know, the Great March of Return. What was Israel's response? They got snipers on the wall and were shooting children in the kneecaps so they would cripple them. That is the response to peaceful, unarmed civilians asking for their rights. So, you know, I feel like I want to play more Macklemore right now.
Go for it. No, please.
Okay.
Please.
Let's go for a little longer on this.
Once you learn the real history, you can't unlearn it. Once you get past the media and the White House focusing solely on October 7th, once you begin to look at October 6th, 5th, 4th, and the 75 years before of oppression and displacement, that's when the truth opens up. And once you look under the hood and realize our government officials are bought and paid for by the Israel lobby, you can't look at our so-called democracy the same way. Once you understand that our tax dollars are funding a genocide that we are watching in real time in the palm of our hands, I believe it is our moral obligation to adamantly protest the atrocities we are witnessing and funding, or we are complicit.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's just do you know where that was held? I'm
It
not.
was in New York.
It was
Not
New
sure
York, okay.
where.
Yeah. No, I mean he's laying it out in complete details. I mean, just the education that we had post October 7th of just what Israel is as a country. I mean, I know that there are Israelis who protest all of this. They do exist. But unfortunately, there's been so much brainwashing in that country for so many years that so many people, and the Zionists here in America, they are completely okay with Palestinians getting killed. They're completely okay with Palestinian children getting killed. I mean, that's the sick ideology of Zionism.
100%. Yeah, it's kind of unbelievable at a certain
It is. I just you're shocked. You know, I've said this before. You know, you learned about the Holocaust when you're growing up. You're like, oh, that was really bad, but that was back then. We would do anything like that today. Oh my God.
History doesn't necessarily repeat itself, but it sure does rhyme.
Yeah. That's a great one. I gotta remember that one. Yes.
I mean, how are those guys? How are they different than, you know, the Gestapo or the SS or the black shirts? I mean, they're wearing black shirts and they're masked. There's masked armed men snatching people off our streets for doing nothing but expressing an opinion.
Yes.
Y'all don't see that this is like for real. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe, you know, one thing about the Macklemore clip, yes, we're all complicit because we haven't stopped it yet. Even me, I haven't figured out a way to stop them yet, but I'm working on it.
And you know, I wanted to add, I did the piece, the letter from Hassan Shabbat before he died. There have been over 200 journalists killed in Israel, in Gaza, and that isn't just the vast majority of those people. It wasn't just a random bomb killing them. They were targeted. They got death threats. There were lists, the kill lists. And that's what Israel has been doing, is murdering journalists to try to stop the coverage of the massacre.
Yep. So Susan Sarandon was also there. Maybe we can play that. I've been trying to figure out how to how to remove stuff out.
Oh, and there's Sip. Yay. Hey, glad you could check in. That's our producer, folks.
Yeah, on the road.
Yeah, he's on the road, so he can't be helping us today. We're trying really.
Our best. It's not nearly as smooth as when our bud Sip Sauce is here, just making it good. You know, we don't have to do a lot. So
yeah, let's play Susan's.
Hopefully, I got the right one.
And I mourn for those who have been quiet during this televised genocide, because their loss is greater than death. Theirs is the loss of compassion and a shared humanity. And what is happening now here that makes it possible to happen, what is happening in Palestine, cannot ever be normalized, and that's why we're here tonight. Caitlin Johnstone said, in quote, "Now the Gaza Holocaust has been reignited, and the people who rule over us actively supporting this while working to imprison, fire, silence, and deport anyone who opposes it. Please understand that this is personal now. This isn't only about some strangers in the Middle East. It's also about you. It's about your rights. It's about your freedom to speak out against the criminality of your rulers. It's about the kind of society you want to live in. It's about the kind of future that you want for your children. We are not separate from what's happening in Gaza. As hard as we might try to make ourselves feel that way, Gaza is here. The waves of blood are lapping at your doorstep. The dead and mutilated children are strewn about your living room and kitchen. They were placed there by the powerful people who run your government and its allies. There's no getting away from it. Gaza has been brought right to you and laid at your feet. And now it's up to you how you're going to respond to it, unquote. Alana said that we're tired. A lot of you are tired. We'll all get tired. And it's possible to get discouraged, but we don't have the luxury to be depressed. And I'm probably going to cry when I read this because I do every time. I take out my Howard Zinn. I hope most of you know who Howard Zinn is. And this is something that I keep with me at all times. To be hopeful in bad times is not just foolishly romantic. It is based on the fact that human history is a history not only of cruelty, but also of compassion, sacrifice, courage, and kindness. What we choose to emphasize in this complex history will determine our lives. If we see only the worst, it destroys our capacity to do something. If we remember those times and places, and there are many, where people have behaved magnificently, this gives us the energy to act, and at least the possibility of sending the spinning top of a world in a different direction. And if we do act, in however small a way, we don't have to wait for some grand utopian future. The future is an infinite succession of presents, and to live now as we think human beings should live, in defiance of all that is bad around us, is itself a marvelous victory.
Yeah, I mean, again, another person who is so brave. You know, she was dropped by her acting agency. All actors have agents, and she was dropped by them. And you know, it's really sick the way, you know, liberals attack her, say she's the reason Hillary Clinton didn't win, and as if one person can do that. But and again, that's part of the propaganda machine. Folks need to realize that, you know, the fact that every liberal will say that is because there was a massive propaganda machine put out there to attack Susan Sarandon. Why? Because she's a leading actor who puts out the voice of peace and pro-Palestine, whatever the issue is. It's, you know, different anti-war, Iraq war, that it's coordinated just the same way that the Democratic Party is coordinated in trying to destroy the Green Party, spending millions and millions of dollars, having AOC put out a cute little video on her couch, attacking the Green Party, lying through her teeth because she used to help the Green Party. So, I mean, a complete liar, a complete fraud. And these are the people, you know, they're still, oh, AOC is the greatest. Yeah, it's all calculated. And thank you, Susan, for still standing up. Absolutely.
Yeah, Susan's incredible. And I like how she said, you know, during the Trump Hillary campaign, she's like, well, maybe we'll wake up if we get Trump, not wishing it, just saying. You know?
Yeah.
And she's like, I wish I had that much power. I would do a lot more with it than just that, you know? Yeah. And, you know, so would we. And this is why Scott and I, you know, God, we work so hard every day. We're trying our best to you know, invite people in. And the Green Party is turning over a new leaf, which I like to say. That was my last email that I sent.
It's very green. Yeah, I like that.
You know,
Greenleaf.
yeah, we're turning over a new leaf. I mean, we're becoming more activists. We're welcoming in, you know, the Palestinian and Muslim community and the Black community and the the LGBTQ
LGBT.
community. Everyone is welcome here.
Right.
And it is a place where you can come, and as long as you come in good faith and do some work and work on something that you care about and see where that can go with like-minded people.
Yeah.
Like, why wouldn't you want to be here? I mean, we go to protests, we support our communities, you know, and
Mutual aid.
you know, should we get into power, we will make sure those values that people have said that they want, you know, like Medicare for all. Well, Green Party goes even further, you know, universal health care,
Right.
you know, like free college, all the things that everybody is like overwhelmingly in favor of. We will go and actually fight for them. And do you know why? It's because we are not bought off by the billionaires and the corporations. It is
Right.
against our rules to take that money. And
Right.
so when we get into office, we will represent you.
Right. Exactly. Right.
So, and Susan's talking about, you know, it's really hard to fight, but every act of resistance is important because when, you know, I saw on Facebook the other day, which I don't go there often, but oh, you know, what can I do? Said 7 billion people.
Yeah. Right.
Right. Yeah. So we wanted to go to the indivisible marches that are happening on the 5th, whatever day that is. I don't know.
Just to
Next
support
Friday.
Green Party. And because the concepts are valid, unfortunately, you know, as Edie had said, the solutions will not be valid if you decide the Democratic Party is the place to be as some kind of anti-Trump. They're the ones who brought us Trump because everything they did was opposed to democracy. They didn't have a primary. They didn't let their people, the Democratic base, choose their candidate. I mean, that's, you know, that's a real basic. If you're going to have a political party, you need to allow people to choose who they want. And the Democratic Party didn't do that. They handpicked Kamala. She's been in the tank for 20 years. Her plans to have her there. I mean, we may never know. It may be years before we find out the real strategy that happened in 2024. But the whole thing of them hiding Biden as much as they can, then bringing the debate date up earlier, knowing he would completely fall apart because he doesn't have the technical abilities anymore with his dementia, and then not having primary and just picking Kamala Harris. I mean, they've, you know, I've said this before. Biden in the debates in 2020, when they had a kind of a primary, I mean, they still cheated, but and on the debate stage, when Kamala ripped Joe Biden to shreds, and then not even 2 months later, he picks her as the VP. Mm-hmm. So he didn't pick her as the VP. He was told to pick her. He was told, and good presidents and almost presidents do whatever they are told. And that's what he did because they want her as president. They're talking about her in 2028. They will force, and you know, people forget Joe Biden had to drop out of the presidential race in like 1980 or 90. I don't remember when it was, for plagiarism.
Yes.
For plagiarism and lying. And I mean, the most basic lies all about his life, like his college and his degrees. And are you lying about everything? And so he had to drop out. But the Democratic Party, they knew that that was his guy. He was a straight on Zionist. And they knew we have got to get him into the presidency. And they just kept pushing it, finally got it. So they picked these people.
Yeah. So let me remind everyone. I have this like very selective memory. Some things just really stick. So I think we've talked before about in 2016 when I believe it was WikiLeaks that outed John Podesta and Debbie Wasserman Schultz and Hillary Clinton colluding together to make sure that Hillary got the nomination.
Right.
So Bernie's out there, he's building his revolution, but they were never going to let him have it. I mean, people actually voted for Bernie, but then when they went to the convention, their votes were overridden. Like, I think it was West Virginia. It's like, oh, well, our people voted for Bernie, but no, you all are going to support Hillary. I mean, it's a soft dictatorship. They're like, yeah, but
Right.
can't have that happen. So the minute that came out, that was I think it was like a Thursday, maybe. So the very next story, like they kept it in their hip pocket, was the Trump Billy Bush, you know what, grabbing video, because it buried the story. They had that in their hip pocket. They couldn't wait.
Right.
And when the election was going on, I lived in California at the time, and the AP announced Hillary had already won before California had cast one single vote.
Right.
So fast forward to 2020, if I can remind you all, in Iowa, Bernie was winning. And then there was the Shadow app. So I was watching Status Quo. I can't remember her name. Jen something was there in the room. And she's like, oh, it's doing like quality assurance or something on this Shadow app, tracking the primary votes. What's happening? So they delayed that just long enough for Buttigieg to get New Hampshire, even though Bernie had won. So, and then fast forward to the actual end of the primary, Obama swooped in.
Oh, yes.
And talked everyone except Elizabeth Warren to drop out. Same day, boom. So Joe Biden could be the nominee. And who was it? James Clyburn in South Carolina?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, got that guy to support him,
Right.
Even though he's a racist.
Lifelong,
wrote the crime
well documented racist. I mean, Biden, well documented over the decades. Yeah.
So they kept Elizabeth Warren in there just long enough to make sure Bernie didn't gain any more ground. Yeah. We have some more comments.
I was going to put up this one.
Okay.
No, we cannot have, and thank you, Brian. No, we cannot have free things like other modern countries. Instead, we launder money out of our tax base and give it to these countries. Taiwan, Ukraine, and Israel all have free healthcare and college. Yeah, I'm pretty sure this week they sent another shipment of arms to Taiwan. So absolutely. Yeah.
Sorry. I was trying to help.
Oh, yeah. No, it's fine. Yeah, no, that's exactly what our country does. I mean, when we talk about the corporate takeover of the country, which was the original definition of fascism, I don't know if folks realize that was the definition. Corporate takeover of government.
Government and corporations doing this and screwing over the people.
Right. And so that's what is happening. That is our government. It doesn't matter if it's Republican or Democrat. The same thing happens. They take our tax money, launder it to Ukraine or Israel or Taiwan. Right. Absolutely. Yeah. And Taiwan, if folks don't know, so the Ukraine playbook that NATO and the US did, destroying that country, letting neo-Nazis run it, so they start killing ethnic Russians in the Donbass. That's the same game plan for Taiwan. They want to, and and there are right-wingers in Taiwan that are all for it, but the problem is they will destroy Taiwan just to try to get at China. They will do anything they can. Right.
Yeah, and you notice how the narrative is different. Oh, we love Ukraine because Russia, but we love Israel because Palestine?
Yeah, right.
I mean, the situations are almost identical in a way. Like, they're very similar, but we pick our sides, opposite sides, according to whatever is going to make weapons manufacturers and the oligarchs the most money. So you got to look like that. I did want to put up another one.
Yeah, and while you're putting that up, I do want to say that that's exactly what our government does, is we go and find the most extreme right-wing folks of a country, fund them, give them lots of guns so that they will take over. And why did we pick those? Because those are the most violent folks, or the potential for violence, because we want to go in and cause problems if we don't have like the current leader of that country, or with Palestine, just because we want to support Israel as they demolish and destroy and kill all Palestinians.
Yeah. And those countries, I mean, Israel has healthcare and we don't, and we probably are funding it. But anyway.
Oh, we are. Absolutely.
Brian Grigsby, Bernie won some states by 70%, but superdelegates picked Hillary or Kamala.
I forgot about those superdelegates.
And I want to comment on Kamala Harris, whatever. What did she actually win? She was doing terrible in the first primary. She's basically been appointed many times. Like,
right.
And she lost big to Trump, which said he wanted to be a dictator. Like, how can you lose to that? You know? Yeah. Here, let's see what this one is.
You know, that's the thing. Go ahead.
When Bernie and AOC was making those impressive tours lately, I tried to get people to go here. You seem like success. Most of those crowds were young college kids that have rich parents. Those people are just being fooled. And it is our duty and our job to show them. Now, it's up to them whether they come along or not. You know, people got to look in their own hearts. But when you point out that Bernie just voted to bomb more kids, why would you listen to this guy? Yeah. And AOC was like, you know, Green Party's predators. But then there's the picture of you supporting Green Party, going door to door. So you didn't think that then. And the only reason you're saying it now is because your overlords are telling you to.
And if you watch, like I said, I'm starting to watch more mainstream media now. And if you watch the, you know, supposed left side of the spectrum, you know, they'll be talking about some subject. Rachel Maddow does this all the time. And then all of a sudden she brings in Russia, or they bring in Russia, and they got to say something negative about Russia. It's always, no matter what the subject is, they'll do the same thing on Fox News, but it'll be China. So they'll be talking about some issue and suddenly, and that evil China, blah, 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 blah. So folks, both, that's why I said they work in tandem. You know, those are two countries that are neocon psychopaths want to try to destroy only because it's, for them, it's some kind of sick competition. You know, that's what it is. China, you know, China has not dropped a bomb in 40 years. They are, you know, it's, they did the smart things post-communist revolution of 48. They did it well. And people say, well, yeah, they're not really communists. They're communist enough. They've got healthcare, massive subsidized housing. Banking is government banking. So that's communist enough for me. Could we have that little amount of communism? That would be wonderful.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I'm looking for the next one, but I don't see it. If you want to start talking about the peaceful protest march, that's okay. But I'm looking for the one about Indivisible. And I thought we had it loaded, but I don't see it.
I don't think so. I think.
Okay. Well, we can talk about it anyway.
We could talk about Pritzker. Do we have that one?
Yeah, I was saving that for last.
Okay. All right. Well, go ahead. Yes.
So Indivisible is putting on these hands-off marches, right? Sounds great. Redefining the problem. I think I have like what they're talking about. And we're not saying go or don't go. But we're also saying if you do go, I mean it's all about Trump and rising up, but to do what? You know, it's a protest, and that's fine. Protests are good, but you got to have more if you want to actually, you know, make a difference. So they're talking about Social Security and Medicare. Yes, that's valid.
Absolutely valid.
They're talking about trillions to billions, forcing us to pay higher prices. They're handing trillions to billionaires while forcing us, the rest of us, to pay higher prices for food, rent, and healthcare. Also true.
Oh, absolutely
They're
true.
getting protections for working people, which that's where Pritzker comes in. So that's really rich coming from them, right?
Yeah.
So payday lenders, banks, and credit card companies can scam Americans with zero consequences. They're assaulting our communities and our rights, targeting veterans, kids, seniors, farmers, immigrants, transgender people, and political opponents. So, but what they're not telling you. So if you go to like donate to Indivisible, the Indivisible Project, you end up at Act Blue.
Yep.
So what is Act Blue? Act Blue, go look it up on Wiki. If you don't believe me, it is an arm of the Democratic Party. So they're redefining the problem, as they always do. Here's the problem. Oh my gosh, the problem. Oh, and then they get in there. Obama had a supermajority. He could have codified Roe v. Wade.
Right.
You
And
know,
he deported 2.8 million people. So there's
he
that.
dropped so many bombs they ran out.
Yeah.
So when they have the opportunity, when they win, this is why winning isn't everything. So when they win, they do nothing with it. Now it's excuses. Now it's the parliamentarian. Now it's
Cinema and Mansion.
Joe Manchin. You know, it's the revolving villain theory. Like, we're going to use this person as a scapegoat because we don't really want to get anything done. Because why? I'm a millionaire and I like my cushy job and I like my great health care. And if I push back too hard on the people that fund me, I'm going to lose my job.
Right.
You know, and that's what it's about. And I'm sorry, that's Bernie too. Something happened to him. Maybe that's who he was all along. And I got fooled twice. I got burned twice. Not going to happen again. Because once you really look and you're waiting for certain things to be said and they're never said, then you know. And then that video of him whenever he was confronted by those young ladies about Mahmoud Khalil, he was super nice until they said his name, and then you saw his dark side.
Vicious and uncalled for. It was really, yeah. No, there was another one, a video about they were talking about the success of the this rally he's doing and the tour, and then maybe the question was, well, what about the chance of AOC in the Senate? And of course, that would go up against the Senate leader. I forget his name, and Schumer. And immediately, Bernie just said something super angry and got up and took off his microphone. I mean, and this was like NBC or something. This was like a major interview. And the guy was in shock because it's like, oh, what did I say? I just said AOC. So trust me, people, this man is working. And oh God, there were, the propaganda. There was some article that came out. I was trying to find it. Oh, the mainstream Democratic Party is not happy with his AOC Bernie tour. That's fucking bullshit. They set this thing up. Come on. But again, they want to play it off. Oh, wow. The progressives are fighting back in the Democratic Party. Let's go join them because this time it'll win. Yeah. Please, people.
Shame on you. Fool me twice. Shame on me. They're going for a threefer. So just saying. And I know George W. ruined that phrase, but let me just read to you what Act Blue is. So Indivisible, that's putting on this hands-off rally, donates to Act Blue through whatever machinations they do. It's a super PAC, whatever. I don't know. They've got 3 different organizations, by the way. So I guess they're playing all the sides. They've raised billions of dollars, whatever. Act Blue is an American Democratic Party political action committee, a PAC, and fundraising platform founded in 2004. Act Blue is a major part of the Democratic Party's fundraising infrastructure. As of 2025, Act Blue reports that it has raised $16 billion for Democratic candidates and causes since it was established. Act Blue is organized as a PAC, but it serves as a conduit for processing individual contributions made through the platform. Under federal law, these contributions are made by individuals and are not considered PAC donations.
Mm-hmm.
So it's out of Somerville, Massachusetts. It says it's a nonprofit. But so anytime you like, wow, this looks great, see where the donations go to, and then
Yeah. And again, there are valid reasons to go to an anti-Trump rally. I would just say, if you go, please wear Green Party paraphernalia, because we need to be seen everywhere. And most of the people there don't know. They don't follow it deeply enough to know that. I would say don't donate to it. That's for sure. But yeah.
Make sure they're aware that this is the Democratic Party putting on a front and still not dealing with Gaza and Palestine and war and the Pentagon and the machine that makes everything shitty.
They were never for abortion rights. I mean, in Nancy Pelosi, and before the Supreme Court gutted it, Nancy Pelosi had said, publicly, that she didn't want to, or maybe it was discovered, that she doesn't want to support Democrats who are pro-abortion. because she thought that would hurt the Democrats' image. And that was only 2 years, I think, before the Supreme Court ruled against Roe v. Wade. So the Democrats are not your friend, people.
So I would say we need to start abandoning Bernie.
Yeah, exactly.
If anybody out there is listening, let's start an abandon Bernie. I forgot to mention that part.
Yeah.
And because and there's another little known fact that you run in a Democratic primary, should you lose, you are required, you have to sign paperwork saying that you will support who wins. Even if like you're pro-Palestine and they're a freaking Zionist, if you
Which
run
they
the
are.
Democratic Party and in the primary, all of your funds go to that person, all of your support, you have to publicly support them. And that's insane. I'm sorry, that's just insane.
And also, 99% of Democrats are Zionist. Either they're Zionist or they just support the Zionist cause. So, they love to cheer about their 1 or 2 progressives they got. That's not a good sign, people. If 99% of your party is crap, time to leave.
Yeah,
Time to leave.
How's that working for you?
Yeah.
I would say support this instead.
There you go.
Or go there with that intention of bringing that. Print this out. March on Washington, ceasefire now, stop the genocide. It's at marchforpalestine.org. So go there, print some signs. Go there on April 5th. Bring those signs. And then when they give you the side eye, go, look, this part isn't in your platform. So I thought I'd, bring it here and
Yeah, that actually, now that thank you for looking through to see the details of the platform. The fact that they don't mention the genocide, that shows you that that's a problem. Trump is committing a genocide. He's sending bombs to kill Palestinians. That should matter as much to you as the other issues. It's murdering people. In Gaza, bombing a hospital. That should be an issue. The fact that it's not shows you the real Democratic Party.
100%. And the reason they can't say it is because they didn't do anything about it.
Right. Well, because they did it for a year and a half. That's why. 15 months. Right. They did it. That's why they can't say.
Because
exactly.
You're guilty.
Right.
You're guilty of making sure that, Palestinians have been being murdered for 18 months.
Right.
Yeah. So there is a local event, and there's probably more. Let me see if I can find it. I'm so bad at this.
There you go.
And this is also going on right now. Unfortunately, I wanted to go, but I wanted to talk to you all.
Well, you can run in and catch the end of it. It goes to 4.
I'll try to go catch the end of it. Hopefully, maybe I can get some people to do some interviews with me.
Oh, yes, please.
But rise and join us as we advocate to the city of Carbondale, where I live, to hold sanctuary status and advocate for the resources for immigrants. The time is now. So this is Peace Coalition and several other local organizations, this is why I love my little city. Even though the city council is not where we'd like them to be and moving rapidly in the wrong direction, they removed 3 people from the ballot over a technicality. Just so happens they were all the people of color and support Free Palestine. Just saying. So, but the activists here are fantastic. The local, the SIDSA, the ceasefire group that I'm part of, even the Unitarians are pretty cool, although they still have that thing where they think Dems are going to save them, And
as of DSA, also DSA, on a national level, they are still tied to the Democratic Party and won't let go.
Yeah. And that's unfortunate.
Yeah. Actually, I want to bring up a couple of Illinois Green Party things. Just, I got to plug them. So if you go to ilgp.org, the first thing that you'll see is we're doing a pledge drive. Now, this is just to sign on for something that we'll be doing in 2026. So we're starting way in advance, but we really want to get people to help us petition and get signatures to get us on the ballot in 2026. So we're going to have at least 8 candidates, I know, running statewide offices and U.S. Senate. So we have big things happening. So if you go to ilgp.org, right at the top banner, you'll see our signature pledge. And we're looking to get 260 people to support us to each go out and get 260 signatures. Now that's going to be March through June of 2026. So don't panic. It's not for a long time, but we need to get that to reach. The state of Illinois has the most, one of the worst ballot access laws in the country in terms of unfairness. For one of these offices, the petition requirements for a Republican or Democrat is hundreds, 1,000, 2,000, something like that. And for the Green Party, it's 25,000. So it is extreme. People complain, how come you never see the Green Party only shows up every 4 years? That's because the Democratic Party and Republican Party in tandem have really, really put in laws throughout the states to try to keep us off the ballot. So we're going to be pushing in 2026. We'll be announcing candidates pretty soon. We have a spring convention, free, open to the public. It's in Chicago at the Sulzer Library, 4455 North Lincoln, Saturday, April 26th at 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. And we're going to have like a morning thing and an afternoon thing. So you could stop in anytime and check us out. And please do. You'll meet Eyde and me. We'll be there. And and hopefully we'll be announcing candidates at that point. So yes, please support us. So I wanted to put those plugs in for ILGP.
Okay. I did want to, I do have the breakdown from 2024. You can find the new breakdown is going to come out in May, so we don't have the 2026. What is it called? The campaign guide.
Okay.
From the state. But here's an example of the different signature calculations, and this is for U.S. House. So let's see. What's an easy one? Okay, here's one. District 4. Democrats need 481 signatures to be on the ballot.
I could do that in a day.
Yeah. Easy. Republicans only need 197.
Oh my
God. Independents need,
and that's us.
Yeah, 6,803 through 10,884.
Yeah, right.
And if you're a new party, you only need 6,803. And this is one of the reasons that the Cornel West campaign tried to do the new party. They thought the signature requirements would be easier to overcome. And they did okay, but it's a long process. And this is one of the reasons that I came to the Green Party. I'm like, it's ballot access, baby.
Yeah.
They have been a party for over 25 years.
Mm-hmm.
I voted for Nader in 2000, so 25 years. And they've been an organization for even longer than that. So they have the structure. They know how to get it done, despite the Democrats spending a war chest to defeat them and take them off the ballot, bigger than all the money that the Jill Stein campaign raised.
Right.
So this is how bad they don't want us to do it. And if they're fighting that hard, we're onto something, just saying.
Right.
So, and here's another one. What's one of the worst ones? Let's see. Okay, District 15. Here we go. Democrats, 511. Republicans, 1,068. Independent, 15,302 through 24,483.
For one district, people. For one district. So only the signatures on the sheet, those people all have to be in that district. Mm-hmm. So
and there's another wrinkle, since the Democrats and the Republicans are established parties in the state of Illinois, they're not going to comb through their signatures. They're not going to go through it with a fine-tooth comb and try to find, oh, that person forgot to dot their I. That doesn't quite match the signature on their ballot. I can't quite read this. They're going to try really, really hard to disqualify as many as possible. And then so we got to get at least double, and we're going to go for more than that. So 260 by 260 was what, like 62,000.
Yeah, about 62,000. But the U.S. House runs are completely separate runs. Like we said, that we're running a 7 slate candidates statewide plus U.S. Senate. And those combined are going to be 25,000 minimum. And again, we got to get to like 50,000 because, right. I mean, the Democrats, oh my God, in North Carolina, they went in and looked through the signatures and they called up people trying to get them to change. And they ended up calling one of the officers of the North Carolina Green Party. And he was like, who is this? Who is calling, asking me to take my name off the ballot, the signature? So, I mean, the Democrats, I mean, yeah, please, people, don't give them any credit. My God, there.
No, not at all. So, I think we might be to our last story tonight.
Okay.
And then I wanted to play some more Macklemore. I might play it out because it's
okay.
just so darn good.
Great.
It's something that you gotta listen to more than once.
That'll be a great way to end the show because oh man, I'm such a huge Macklemore fan. I don't listen to his music because I'm a musician and I don't listen to other people. That's just kind of my thing because I write and compose and stuff. So, but now he's my number one music fan. That's for sure.
Well, and the way he speaks, you can feel the musical influence.
Yes, right. There you go. And you know what's really funny? I have this thing. This is total music, silly trivia stuff. He's such a rapper. He grabs the microphone too far up. You're not supposed to do that. All the rappers do that because it hurts the sound quality. Anyway, totally off the subject.
Yeah, it's a culture thing.
Yeah,
for sure.
Oops, I gotta mute for a second.
All right. That's
sorry.
Right.
I live on shared.
This is the reality we live in. You know, Scott lives in the city, so sometimes it's loud.
I'm on the north side of Chicago on a road that the ambulances are going up and down all the time. I don't know why, because it's not like there's a hospital right here, but so I'll be muting occasionally.
Yeah. So our last story is about Mr. J.B. Pritzker. Now, I haven't done the deep dive on this, but just on the surface, he vetoed a bill aimed at protecting warehouse workers from quota penalties. So he does not have the back of workers. He's a billionaire himself.
And for using the bathroom.
So, and it's directed at Amazon workers. But, so what does this say? Let's see if I can see it better. Hang on.
What it tells me is that Pritzker is, as a billionaire, as all good billionaires do, just like Jeff Bezos, punish the workers as much as possible because you're just trying to, get as much as you can out of them. Even taking seconds away to run to the bathroom. I mean, this is what a perfect bill for a billionaire to veto. Unreal.
They don't have the right to pee.
No.
So this is by John Clark. He posted it March 25th. I don't know where we got this exactly.
Yeah, I'm so sorry. I was going to yell at us.
We're getting trying to get better, but Springfield, Illinois, WTBO, I guess.
Okay, right.
Governor J.B. Pritzker vetoed a bill that would have protected warehouse workers from punishments for failing to meet quotas or using the restroom. Pritzker said that the Warehouse Worker Protection Act was too vague on who would be covered by it and said the process for enforcing the policy is unclear. In this tight budget year of unpredictable enforcement and funding from the federal government, it is critical that advocates, legislatures, and my administration work together to ensure any new labor laws are straightforward to implement and do not create a risk of legal challenges. Sounds reasonable.
God. Yeah,
but why didn't you just go work on it?
Well, no, it's just I bet it is as straightforward as can be. He just needed an excuse. So that's what his team come up with as an excuse. Too vague. No, this is a billionaire doing what billionaires do. I mean, it's amazing. Absolutely amazing.
On the bigger prize anyway. He's already hit at Trump. He wants to be the Democratic Party nominee. Good luck with that, because I think they were going to hand it to Gavin Newsom, even though his voice is atrocious. And I know that shouldn't be a thing, but he's really hard to listen to, just like RFK. Like, it's like chalkboard. And that just shows you, if they were serious about what they were saying, they wouldn't be putting forward people that can't speak well.
I was shocked. I was shocked that they pushed Kamala Harris. I mean, she does a word salad. It's more word salad than AOC. I mean, AOC can give you some word salads, but my God, Kamala, holy, her brain. You just, it was that thing where they released, or they had a prisoner exchange. I think it was with Russia, and they asked her for some commentary, and you could tell she had picked 3 words. And then she just started saying those 3 words and then mixing them up and then mixing them up into to make a sentence. It just went around and around and around. And I mean, the woman has no talents, people.
And then when you're done, you're like, what?
I know.
What did you mean
You
to
just-
say? I mean, you know, I've been talking politics for, I don't know, a very long time, probably 23 years or something. And that's how I started. That's how I sounded when I started trying to like use my voice and talk to people. I would repeat myself. That means you don't have the depth of knowledge.
Right.
So the more you learn, the better you can address, you know, like do the deep dive on things. Like you remember things, you're paying attention, things occur to you in the moment. Even though you're really listening to the person, like they'll say something like, "Oh, 'cause this." And then it's like a conversation, but if you're just repeating yourself and not making sense, you don't know what you're talking about.
And, it just seems like, again, the Democrats make the choice of who they want based on, like, her husband's an APAC handler. So I think that's what it is. They got really lucky when they discovered Obama, because the man he's an empty shell. He'll do whatever he's told. He has no principles. He has no, he doesn't give a fuck about anybody, but he can speak. Mm-hmm. I mean, the man can speak, and that was the evil genius of Obama, and that's why he was a success in the Democratic Party. But you'd think they'd go out trying to find those other empty shells who are great speakers, but they just get empty shells. That's all they get now.
They're lazy and they're bad at their job.
Yeah.
Why would you vote for them? And another thing I've been saying, so let's look at your vote as you are purchasing something in a way. Like you're like, I'm giving you my vote and I expect this in return, right? Just like a transaction, right?
Right.
So I'm putting my faith in you. Maybe you even donated money. Maybe you supported them and had a sign in their yard. So I'm putting my hopes into you, right? So let's say you did that with the Democratic Party. If it was food delivery or you ordered some shoes and you never received them,
right?
Would you still shop there?
Right.
Wouldn't you demand your money back?
Right.
Like,
exactly.
Oh, but you said you were gonna give me health care. You said you were gonna raise the minimum wage. Where'd that go? Right?
It's incredible. They haven't given people one thing, not one. And $15 minimum wage. I mean, that's bad, right? You can't survive on that. And they wouldn't even do that. I mean,
and that's not even where it needs to be now. It needs
no,
to be
right.
25 just to
right.
survive.
Right.
We're not talking bucks. We're talking, if you make this, you can pay your rent and your gas bill and, make sure your car runs so you can get to work and, pay for your kids' school supplies, just the basics.
And, there are videos out there of Obama when he was running for president the first time saying, I will codify Roe v. Wade as soon as I get into office. Then days after he's into office, well, that's not our priority right now. I mean.
And here's how fake Obama is. He went to Flint, Michigan, and hats off to Jordan Sheridan of Status Quo for not letting that story go. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I would have never known about it at all if it hadn't been for him and his on-the-ground, in-depth reporting on that. And I still talk to people and they don't know anything about it. I'm like, how can you not know?
Oh, I didn't realize
they poisoned the city because the governor decided to switch the water supply for Flint, Michigan from the Detroit River to the Flint River. The composition, without checking the composition of the water. So the old pipes couldn't handle the difference in the acidic or alkaline level. and all those pipes leached, what was it? Poison. I can't even remember.
Lead. It was lead poisoning.
Lead poisoning.
Yep.
So these kids have mental deficiencies now because they drank water that had lead in it. It never goes away. You're forever changed, and it's still not fixed.
Right. And he switched it because he switched companies so that one of his donors would get the contract.
Yeah.
So no, it's sick. Absolutely sick.
And did anybody go to prison?
Oh, does anybody go to prison for any of the crimes of our government? No.
But they'll pick up somebody for saying Free Palestine.
Yeah.
So this is where we are, people. I'm gonna. Did you have anything else, Scott? I think
that's it.
Play the rest.
Let's watch it, and I'll be crying in the background.
Well, we can stay on the stage unless you don't want.
Oh no! Don't, you don't. No, we don't need to see that.
Oh my God! Did I lose it?
Oh really?
Oh no! Oh, there it is. I found it. Thank God. Okay, here we go.
All right, next.
But lecturing others about morals doesn't work. I've tried. I post more. I share directly from Palestinians in Gaza. I uplift the beautiful Jewish voices in solidarity. I am inspired by scholars and academics, those that have spent their lives researching and learning, dispelling notions that Judaism and Zionism are connected. I write songs. I try to channel the insanity that I feel inside. But I don't know how to deal with this mad world that we were not meant to metabolize. The gaslighting, the lying, the bias, the language, who is a terrorist and who isn't, disregard of international law, disregard of American law, rewriting history, the erasure of truth in our schools. Don't you see it? Don't you get it? We have to fight. I get louder, but in the process, the last 6 months, I have become hardened. My heart that was open in October of 2023 feels distant at times. My ability to meet people where they are at has declined. My judgment of those to look away, remain silent, or centering their own fear has only risen as the months have gone on. I have wanted the world to wake up so desperately that a part of me has fallen asleep. And I keep coming back to the question, how do we get people to care? How do we get people to care? And it stumped me for the last 18 months. And in this last week, I've realized I've been asking the wrong question. The question isn't how we get others to care. It's how can we be of the utmost service to humanity? Because change occurs when we cultivate our own light, not dimming ours to match another's shadow. Change doesn't occur by calling each other out, but by calling each other in. Change isn't achieved in righteousness. It isn't found in resentment. Change doesn't happen with shaming another. No one has a spiritual awakening from being yelled at and hearing your own voice reverberate throughout the echo chamber of folks that already feel the same way that you do isn't stopping Israel and the United States any faster. True change occurs in the spirit. You cannot transmit love if you don't have it yourself. You can't force empathy and compassion on another if you lose those gifts along the way. If I am righteous with my heart closed, pointing the finger and yelling at people who feel differently than me, I am drinking the same poison I am protesting against. Division, them, us, right, wrong. So in this moment of dire urgency, with the next phase of genocide and ethnic cleansing underway, with our feeds flooded with a new era of martyred innocent Palestinians, when we open up our phones with our rage, our tears, our unanswered pleas in the face of a fascist government, how can we bring people in? How can we meet people where they are at? Coming to the table with all the stories we have been told, with all the baggage our ancestors accumulated along the way. Because we've been told some lies. lies that uphold oppression, that doubled down on division, lies that fueled fear as a mechanism to drive us further apart from one another. How do you show the necessity of collective liberation if we have never truly experienced it? How do you uproot the insane notion that we are separate from the Palestinian struggle? How does our own fear influence how we respond or justify violence against the most vulnerable populations? How do we unsubscribe to past generations' fences, walls, identities that perpetuate the disease thinking them versus us? How do we mobilize? Our history teaches us that the oppressed are never handed their freedom by the oppressor when asking politely. As people, we are far more powerful than our governments want us to believe. And when we infiltrate their systems of oppression with boycotting, divesting, and protesting, things change. That is why the Biden and the Trump administration cracked down on Meta, TikTok, and demonized students peacefully protesting like Mahmoud Khalil. Because this new way of learning and spreading the truth, it's actually working. My heart is not the only one that has been opened by Palestine. Millions of people around the world are having the same awakening from witnessing Palestinian faith, resistance, and struggle. The narrative is shifting. The people are the storytellers. The old guard of relying on Western media for accurate reporting is in shambles. They want to control the narrative, and they cannot. And that is why Trump's administration is so threatened by teaching the real story of America, one that is rooted in genocide and slavery. They don't want us to draw lines and see parallels of resistance movements of the past. Education is their greatest threat. The people united with shared analysis is powerful medicine. We believe it because we have seen it. We watched segregation crumble, slavery be abolished, apartheid in South Africa dismantled. We learned from the sit-ins, the Montgomery bus boycott, Columbia students in the 60s taking over Hens Hall. We have been shown by previous generations what it looks like to resist oppression in the seemingly insurmountable systems of supremacy that fall apart. Protesting against genocide, illegal occupation, and ethnic cleansing isn't complicated. Advocating for safety and equality for all human beings isn't against anyone, it's for everyone. We are literal guests on this earth, a rock spinning in space. We are here to make it better for all, not some. Not just for ourselves or the people that look like us or speak the same language or believe in the same God, but for those that are suffering the most. The structures that enable us to emotionally distance ourselves from another's fight to exist must be eradicated. What comfort are we willing to give up for justice? What seat at the table are we willing to share for a more equitable and just society? What if we all operated from a place of collective liberation over self-preservation? What if we saw the children of Gaza as our own? What if we heard our own 6-year-old in the voice of Hen Rajab begging to a 911 operator for someone to come save her? What if we saw ourselves in the men and the boys with black bags over their heads, stripped of their clothing, numbered, zip-tied, heading to the most inhumane torture one could imagine? What if we felt their hunger? What if we imagined their thirst? What if we thought about the U.S. bombs pummeling throughout the night, what that would feel like? What if we visualized every university, mosque, community, home, neighborhood, memories buried buried under the same rubble that was suffocating our relatives and our loved ones. What if we saw ourselves? What if we didn't see them? What if we saw us? This moment is the biggest threat to humanity we have ever faced. The earth is aching. Systemic oppression is advancing at a rate that none of us can keep up with. But we cannot allow our hearts to become hardened. The people of Palestine have given me the greatest gift. They have taught me what actually matters in this finite amount of time we have on this earth. My spirit has been reminded. I want to live in a world where standing up against genocide isn't brave, it's human. I want to live in a world where using our platforms to condemn ethnic cleansing isn't a risk, it's a given. I want to live in a world where advocating for the most marginalized isn't rewarded, it is expected. I want my children to know that Palestinian liberation is their liberation, is our liberation. They are not separate. I want all human life to be cherished the same, for all of us to feel safe walking this earth. And I would not have been able to reconnect to my own heart and envision this world had it not been for the people of Palestine. Your immeasurable suffering and pain will not go in vain. It has ignited this world. The next generation is alive, loud, growing, and unapologetically committed to this movement. We will not forget you. We are right here. We are not going anywhere. Free Palestine.
Uprising, we're rising up. It's an uprising, we're rising up. It's an uprising. Fight the power. It's an uprising.